color of this stroke to maybe a red color. Again, you can choose whatever you want. Now I'm going to highlight inner glove, choose black. We're building a more complicated appearance. Let's go back to the stroke at the top here, highlight that, and again, click to duplicate that item. Now we'll choose another color. I'm going to choose an orange color this time. And with that highlighted, I'm going to go back to this FX button and I'm going to choose path, offset path, and then I'm going to just increase that value until it's outside of the first stroke. And in fact, I could even calculate what that would be. My guess here would be it would be 45 points, I think. So let's try that and see how close I am. I was too far away, so I'll try again. 30 points there, like so. There you go, because 15 and 15 is 30. So I've got a nice outline. Again, the appearance is building. I'll now go down to the fill and highlight that again, and I'm going to duplicate that by clicking the plus icon. And then I'm going to target the bottom fill there. I'm going to change the color. Let's see, I think I'll just choose here maybe a brown color just for now. Now we won't see that because it's at the bottom of the stack. Then I'm going to highlight the top of the stack to final trip across to the FX button here and choose convert to shape. I'm going to choose a round rectangle, and then I'm going to do a similar thing with the height, like so. Okay, and there you are, all inner glow or inner shadow, one shape. And I'll change the corner radius so all of the action takes place here. It may surprise you to learn that Illustrator does actually have a little bit of Photoshop built into the product. And it's there so it can render some of Illustrator's effects. Now, if I go ahead and examine a couple of things here, so this question mark, for example, if I open that up inside of the Appearance panel, there's a fill here, there's a fill down the bottom as well. In fact, that was the default fill when this was created. And a whole bunch of strokes there. You can see different widths, giving it the impression of a glow. Now, all of those things, all of the stroke effects and the opacity there, they are all native to Illustrator, although arguably, whenever you introduce opacity, technically, it's starting to render as an image. Okay, but if I go to the shape underneath this big circle here that we're using, you can see there's a stroke on the top here that actually has a gradient stroke on it. There are a few fills, so there's this black to transparent fill there. Underneath that, you can see sponge. That's a Photoshop effect. We'll see that in just a second. Okay, we've got another fill underneath that. Okay, and then we've got a fill down towards the bottom there, and you can see all of those things starting to join together. Let's go ahead and add yet another fill here. So here's an undocumented shortcut for you. Hold down Command on the Macintosh, Control on Windows, and tap the slash key. That will generate you a new fill. We're going to go down to the one at the bottom here, and you can see it's a gradient. Windows, and tap the slash key. That will generate you a new fill. I'm going to go down to the one at the bottom here, and you can see it's a gradient. So that's highlighted. So I'll go to my gradient panel, and I'm making sure that my fill is in front, and I can see that it is here as well. I'm just going to change the colors here. I'm going to go with a sort of a light yellow, like so, and then I'm going to go with an orange, maybe a deeper orange just there, and radial is just fine. Let's go back to the Appearance panel, and again, making sure that is still highlighted, I'm going to go to the effects, clearing that out. I'm in the Illustrator effects here. I'm going to go to Path, Offset Gradient, just a little bit there. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. In fact, if I wanted to see from here. Anyway, let's go back to that Appearance. Again, still making sure that we have focus on it just there. I'm now going to zigzag, hence the name, like so. I can change the size here, so how big. Change the method here to relative. Okay, and bring that right down. That's a percent just there. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, that's done. And now we're going to go into the Photoshop effects. Now there's a whole bunch of different things in here, but I'm going to go into the effect gallery where we will see a lot of them. And I'm going to choose maybe sponge. That texture is already that effect in here. Okay, and I can tune that however I want that to be. But at the moment, this is just fine. All right, and that effect is applied. Now what I could also do is blend this slightly differently. Now what would make that look even better actually if I was going to blend this using opacity would be to have another fill underneath. So I'm going to duplicate that one. Now on the bottom one, I don't need to have the sponge there. There we go. And this one here, let's go to the opacity. Okay, and we'll make that this particular thing. Well, so now it's a nice soft texture in there, and you can see that it's out here. Let's go to underneath. So I'm going to duplicate that one. Now on the bottom one, if I was going to blend this using opacity, would be to have another fill underneath. So I'm going to duplicate that one. Now on the bottom one, I don't need to have the sponge there. There we go. And this one here, Let's go to the opacity. Okay, and we'll make that overlay there like so. So now it's a nice soft texture in there, and you can see that it's actually brightened up the underneath. So why are we focusing on this particular thing? Well, as soon as you start using effects like drop shadows and the Photoshop effects, any of those things that generate an image, you need to be aware of the document raster effects settings. And if I go here to mine, at the moment, they are set at 7. You need to be aware of the document raster effects settings. And if I go here to mine, at the moment, they are set at 72 ppi. That is not a very high quality rendering at all. And normally my baseline, even for web graphics, is 150. But here I'll choose slightly. You can see my beach ball spinning while that processes just there, because all of the effects that are in this file will actually now just re-render, and they'll be much sharper. You may just be able to see actually that the sponge has changed the texture. It's actually much crisper just there. So there you are. Be aware. You know, I